Welcome all. So welcome to everyone who is here with us today to our first Fellows lecture. I'm Chiara Paris and I'm a junior researcher at the Center for Advanced Studies at Eurac Research in Bolzano. First, I just wanted to say that Roland Benedicta, the UNESCO Chair in Interdisciplinary Anticipation and Global Local Transformation, sincerely apologizes for being unable to attend today's event due to other important activities within the UNESCO network. So therefore, I will be taking over the moderation today. And he sends his warmest greetings to all the participants and speakers. So before we begin, I would like to extend a warm welcome to our fellows and express my gratitude for their availability. Each year, the Eurac Research Center for Advanced Studies proudly welcomes a research fellows under two different fellowship programs, the Stiftung Südtiroler Sparkasse Global Fellowship and the newly introduced UNESCO Chair Fellowship. These fellowships focus on contemporary and future social, political, and economic challenges. The select fellows are given the opportunity to collaborate with our interdisciplinary team at the Center for Advanced Studies on common interests and linking their personal experiences and research with the expertise of the center. So after an accurate selection process, we have chosen the following UNESCO Chair Fellows, Sanja Bojanić and Alex Putza, and the following Global Fellows, Temenuga Trifonova and Caroline Irshara. So we will now begin the Fellows Seminar series with a presentation from our UNESCO Chair Fellow, Sanja Bojanić. And first, I want to say that today's seminar consists of a 20-minute presentation, followed by a discussion and a Q&A session. Please feel free to write your questions in the chat, and at the end of the presentation, the questions will be addressed. Yes, so I will introduce Sanja Bojanić. She's a professor and did her PhD. She's a researcher immersed in philosophy of culture with an overreaching commitment to comprehend and contemporary forms of gender, racial, and class practices, which underpin social and affective inequalities, specifically increased in the current societal and political context. She expanded and tailored her interests and graduated at the University of Paris 8 in hypermedia studies and obtained her PhD at the Centre d'études féminines et d'études de genre. This process ultimately led to interdisciplinary research based on experimental artistic practices, queer studies, and particularities of affect theory. Author and editor of several books and manuals, she published over 40 peer-reviewed papers on topics related to her field of expertise. So now, Sanja, the floor is all yours.
Thank you very much, Chiara. You're very kind, and thank you all for your time. I am advancing now into an unknown land, so I will be also grateful to all for your comments and questions after the presentation. And I will be talking about academia in the wild. It's a metaphor, of course. In Western world, humankind starts with the design of the gods, what Hesiod calls the theogony. Birth of the gods was followed by creation of titans and our champion, the Prometheus, who made human beings in clay. The spit of Zeus and the breath of Athena gave humans life, but Zeus refused to allow them to have fire. Still, Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. Fire in this context represents both a literal element and a metaphorical symbol of knowledge, progress, and civilization. This act of giving fire to humans can be seen as an embodiment of techne, as Prometheus bestowed upon humanity the practical knowledge and power to manipulate fire for various purposes, such as cooking, warmth, crafting, but also fighting among themselves and fighting against anything standing before or in front of them, conquering fierce animals and becoming the strongest physically and technically on this planet. This fire provided the internal fire of self-consciousness and creativity, which Zeus didn't want us to have, and for the good reason. Because the mastery of fire was a transformative moment, enabling the development of tools, technologies, refined techniques, craftsmanship, all in all, various arts, intertwining skills and apparatuses added to the metaphorical understanding of inner fire or divine fire within individuals. This fire represented passion, inspiration, and the creative spark that drives artistic and technical mastery, expertise, dedication, innovation. This tangible tool for progress and a symbolic representation of the transformative power of knowledge provided development of the scientific knowledge and various forms of industrial revolutions, enabling the advancement of human civilization. But also environmental degradation, overexploitation of resources, pollution and waste, climate change, zoonotic disease emergence, to name the most known, which are the counterexamples of this human ingenuity. As our population and technological capabilities have grown, so has our impact on the environment. The burning of fossil fuels, deforestation for agriculture, expansion, pollution, industrial activities have contributed to habitat destruction, loss of biodiversity, and various forms of environmental degradation. Humans have a long history of exploiting natural resources to meet our needs and desires, from overfishing to overhunting and excessive extraction of minerals and other non-renewable resources. Our activities have often exceeded the Earth's capacity to replenish these resources sustainably. Then our industrial and consumer activities generate vast amount of pollution and waste that have adverse effects on ecosystems and on our human health. Air and water pollution, improper waste management, and the release of hazardous substances into the environment pose significant challenges, not only to us, but to planet. So the burning of coal, oil, gas for energy production has led to the accumulation of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. This has contributed to global climate change, as I said, resulting in rising temperatures, altered weather patterns, sea level rise, and other significant impacts on ecosystems and on our human societies. This human encroachment into natural habitats, into wildlife trade, and other factors increase also the risk of zoonotic disease transmission. Diseases such as HIV, Ebola, SARS, and lately COVID-19 have highlighted the potential consequences of our interaction with wildlife and the need for a better understanding of the interconnections between human, animal, and environmental health. In the context of this environmental degradation and dangers we pose to the survival of the planet, The One Health concept states, ecosystem health, which is recognizing the importance of maintaining healthy ecosystems for the well-being of humans, animals, and the environment. You see that I'm always having in line those three. Climate change mitigation and adaptation, understanding the impact of climate change on human and animal health and working towards reducing greenhouse gas emissions, transitioning to renewable energy sources. Then sustainable resource management, promoting responsible and sustainable use of natural resources to avoid this overexploitation, to reduce waste generation and minimize pollution. And finally, One Health, in a nutshell, concerns the disease prevention and control, because we need to recognize the risks of zoonotic diseases and the need for surveilling ourselves in early detection and rapid response systems to prevent and control outbreaks, to control ourselves. This involves collaboration between human and animal health sectors, as well as monitoring and addressing environmental factors that contribute to disease emergence. So why do we need to adopt the One Health approach? If we get to embrace it, we can better understand the complex interactions between humans, animals, and the environment. And we can work towards a more sustainable and harmonious relationship with the planet in this one world that we have. So this concept enables us to address the problems we face and strive for a future where human activity supports the health of all living beings and the long-term survival of the planet. Is this just one among many escape hatches? Well, Stéphane Mallarmé, through his poem Un coup de dé jamais n'abolira le hasard, challenged human arrogance and omnipotence in using techne, like in using fire. Mallarmé's verses can indeed be seen as a critique of human attempts to impose absolute control and meaning onto the world. This world of ours, which we choose not to protect. The persistent tendency to view the world through separated silos of disciplines and sciences, arts and crafts, rather than embracing a holistic perspective, limits our understanding and hinder effective solutions to these complex problems. This is where the concept of One Health can play a significant role. By adopting the One Health approach, we can move away from fragmented thinking and foster a more comprehensive understanding of conundrum of issues that recognizing the intricate relationship between human health, animal health, and the environment. I will not be tired in repeating three in a line. By embracing the One Health perspective, we can bridge disciplinary gaps, break down ivory towers of knowledge. Did we forget that chance and unpredictability are integral parts of existence, and no matter how much we try to control or impose meaning, that they still persist? Again, Mallarmé reminds us about the humanity's failure to properly value and protect the natural world. By acknowledging the role of chance and the limitations of our control, it prompts us to concede to the delicate balance that we are just a part of. As a call for humility, a recognition of our place within the greater ecosystem, and a plea to reconsider our actions and responsibilities towards the world we inhabit, we are invited to reflect on our relationship with the world and consider the consequences of our choices. defying conventional expectations and disrupting traditional modes of communication. The poet's experimental approach contests the notion that language alone can capture the full scope of human experience or impose total understanding. Again, chance and uncertainty will always persist, regardless of human efforts to assert control. In the context of the phrase, a throw of the dice which will never abolish chance, the idea of an escape hatch could be understood as a perspective or mindset that helps individuals cope with inherent uncertainties and unpredictability of each life. Accepting the approach which allows us the presence of chance can open the possibility to find resilience in the face of uncertainty and move further techniques and skills we do acquire through various formats of, let us say, design thinking, such as universal interaction, user experience design, and finally, speculative design. Did you notice that the job of the future is the designer? Still, there is something that remains unsolved. As society continues to evolve, there is a growing recognition of the need for thoughtful and intentional design in areas such as product design, service design, user experience design, interaction design, and even broader concepts like system designs and social design. Designers bring a unique set of skills and perspectives to the table. They're trained to empathize with users, understand their needs and behaviors, and translate them into meaningful and impactful experiences. Designers are also here to excel at visual communication, storytelling, prototyping, and iteration, enabling us to create compelling and effective solutions. Moreover, with increasing integration of technology in our daily lives, the demand for designers who can navigate these digital interfaces and create seamless user experiences is on the rise. Design thinking methodologies in sciences and in arts often provide structured approaches and frameworks. But still, under the huge influence of pragmatism, following neo-ultra-liberal goal orientation, they paradoxically close all our escape hatches. Design thinking methodologies emphasize user centricity, efficiency, and achieving specific outcomes. These aspects are important for practical applications, but they can inadvertently limit the exploration of non-utilitarian, playful, and open-ended realms. The pressure to achieve immediate results and meet specific goals can lead to a narrowing of focus and a disregard for alternative perspectives or possibilities that may not align with these predefined objectives, which can hinder creativity, experimentation, and the pursuit of non-linear or unexpected outcomes. So to avoid these limitations, it is crucial to integrate a broader understanding of design thinking that encompasses not only these pragmatic goals and aims, but also to encourage exploration, curiosity, and yes, to embrace the ambiguity. This might involve incorporating elements of speculative design. Yes, there is also in design part of speculation and future. Then in participatory design. Then design for serendipity, which encourage exploration, questioning, assumptions, and welcoming uncertainties. Because by embracing hazard, designers, and here I am introducing artists, can enhance their ability to iterate, to innovate in the face of complexity, uncharted territories, and uncovered novel solutions. Moreover, with Mallarmé, accepting chance and embracing uncertainty can foster a more open and inclusive approach to creativity. But it can also provide a comfort, which can lead us to more inclusive and sustainable outcomes as the design processes become responsive to a broader range of needs, contexts, possibilities, and our desires. So incorporating resilience in artistic processes, we can also encourage designers and artists to consider the long-term impact of their work. By creating arts with resilience in mind, they can build imaginary realms that are robust, adaptable, and able to withstand unforeseen challenges and changes. So embracing the concept of one world within that one health, and acknowledging the limitations of technological solutions offered by individuals like Elon Musk and Richard Branson can lead us to explore alternative approaches that go beyond mere efficiency. It invites us to seize momentum in our life through personal fulfillment, non-utilitarian activities such as hobbies, artistic pursuits, or leisure exploration, which can bring joy, satisfaction, and a sense of fulfillment. Translated into known patterns of language, it can provide opportunities for self-expression, creativity, and personal growth. Can also better well-being in our mental health. Taking time for these activities can promote mental well-being and reduce stress. Playful and enjoyable experiences contribute to a balanced and fulfilling life, fostering positive emotions, relaxation, and overall psychological well-being. Then it can also bond a social connection, engaging in non-utilitarian activities, often involving with others who share similar interests, around the table, eating together, spending time together. This fosters social connections, community building, and the formation of meaningful relationships. Finally, it can nurture creativity in non-pragmatic pursuits which stimulate it, leading to fresh ideas, innovative thinking, and problem-solving abilities. Playful exploration and experimentation can generate new perspectives, new approaches. It can also preserve our culture. It can build the appreciation of the same culture and contribute to a richer and more vibrant cultural landscape. So, in a nutshell, engaging in creative and open-ended processes can indeed stimulate the release of dopamine, neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. I'm not a neuroscientist or endocrinologist, but I can understand that dopamine plays a role in regulating our brain's reward and motivation systems, and its release can lead to a feeling of joy, satisfaction, and a sense of accomplishment. So finalizing and in a short lineup, how creative and open-ended processes can contribute to the secretion of dopamine, I can just suggest to engage in creative activities, often involving exploring new ideas, experiencing that can trigger release of dopamine as our brain rewards us for engaging in new and exciting stimuli. When we immerse ourselves in a creative process, such as painting, writing, playing an instrument, playing, performing at a stage, we can enter a state of flow, a state of deep focus, of immersion and enjoyment. We can achieve mastery or make progress in these activities that can activate the brain's reward pathways and lead again to the release of dopamine. So flow state and mastery. Then creative pursuits are often driven by intrinsic motivation, the internal desire to engage in an activity for its own sake, of really playing, enjoying, rather than for external rewards. When we engage in activities that align with our passions, interests, and values, dopamine is released, reinforcing the pleasure associated with the creative process itself. Creative and open-ended processes involve finding new solutions, sciences, thinking outside the box, and overcoming challenges. When we successfully navigate these problem-solving tasks, dopamine is released, reinforcing the pleasure associated with the creative problem-solving processes. Finally, engaging in creative activities can foster our social connectivity, our cooperation. We share our experiences. Positive social interactions and connections have been shown to stimulate dopamine release, enhancing the joy derived from creative endeavors undertaking with others, for others, together with others. But creativity is a complex and multifaceted experience, influenced by various factors such as personal meaning, then motivation, individual preferences, and scientists utter that dopamine acts as only one of neurotransmitters involved in the brain reward system, which contribute to the overall experience of joy and satisfaction. So it is good sometimes to go against the grain, which plays a significant role in driving progress and advancement. Against the grain can lead to groundbreaking discoveries, artistic revolutions, social reforms, even disruptive inventions. Going against the grain can also be a source of inspiration for others, with others, and the empowerment for individuals who feel marginalized or constrained by societal expectations. Yes, of course, it's important to know that going against the grain can also be met with resistance, criticism, or backlash, because it requires courage, determination, and willingness to face challenges or consequences. It is not always easy, but it can be a catalyst for transformative change and personal growth. So coming back to what I wanted to state here, and what I invite you to think together, is this concept of one health in one world, with open-ended processes which can bring us resistance and resilience, even when we go against the grain. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sanja, for this very interesting and inspiring presentation you gave us. I think it was stimulating also for the audience, as was it for me. So now I ask, and I see that already Temenuga made a question. I ask you all to write your questions down in the chat. So Temenuga is asking, how is the concept of One Health different from previous holistic approaches? How does this concept fit in the history of holistic approaches to the existence? For example, how do design and design thinking fit in your understanding of technique? Is design thinking a different way of conceptualizing tech? Are there any limitations to the One Health approach?
Thank you very much. It takes, I think, a course, a whole semester course to answer some of the issues that Temenuga raised, and I consider it rather as a comment, not a direct question, because behind all that is said, I see that Temenuga has well understood the complexity that we are facing. And One Health concept is interesting because of what we went through recently. So you do have, of course, through histories of ideas, cultures, civilizations, counter-civilizations, whatsoever. And I started with our Prometheus because somehow I situated myself in a Western culture and Western tradition. We throughout our history always had these backlashes, and Temenuga can easily discover that I'm on the side of those who are marginalized compared to mainstream discourses. So One Health is not new. There is nothing new in it. It's just a conceptual tool, again, to start or restart grasping what is here and what are the problems that we are facing, since we are sharing this planet with other sentient objects as animals and plants. And here, when I say object, I consider humans as well objects, of sentient objects.
Thank you very much. So also Alex Butzer made a question and a comment. He said, thank you very much for sharing your reflections, Sanja. He asked, you started your talk by describing the human impact in almost exclusively negative way. So hindering on their own the health of the entire non-human world. So at the same time, they are their own negotiable part in the three-part One Health approach. In fact, you said the job of the future is the designer. So also designing the One Health approach is unavoidably human. How does the One Health approach do both misanthropic and human exceptionalistic? Thanks in advance.
Again, Alex, thank you very much. It means that we are going to work together, at least for a course or a seminar that we can develop. But this is the dialogue, and this is the ambiguity that I just announced. We need, with all the tools that we've got together with FIRE, we got the dispute, we got the capacity of entering the polemos, but if we go directly to the wall without speaking, without arguing, without defending and fighting for what we stand for, we will probably disappear. So yes, Alex, we are here, and we go, we move forward to that future.
Thank you, Sanja. Also, Ismaila is asking, something regarding to the One Health approach. He said you talked about the limitations of technology promoted by Elon Musk in the One Health approach. Can design and design thinking methods be used to overcome these limitations?
Oh, huge questions, incredible. Thank you so much. I'm flattered if you think that I am able to answer them. But what I can offer here as a excuse that I count on all of us, on all of you to move forward. And why I quoted Musk or Brunson or all these Altman, Sam Altman, all these incredibly gifted persons that are driving us into an uncertain, again, uncertain future of artificial intelligence. This is part of it. Yes, design and design thinking methods are my basic critique of design thinking methods is that it's open-ended. What we need to do with the design thinking as a tool, as a methodology to overcome the paradox is we need to open it. And this is why I introduced the poetry, why I introduced arts, because in arts, there is very often just a pure momentum, and the respect of that momentum in all its even destructive beauty. You go against yourself, or you go against what is there. And yeah, this is Ismaila. We can think it together again.
Perfect. So also Christoph is making a question. One Health requires questioning representational orders. Experimental thinking is, in my opinion, central to this. My question is experimental thinking and the affirmation of uncertainty just something for a few, like artists or designers, or can it be a social practice? After all, people are basically trapped in their habits and representations.
Christoph, thanks a lot. Now, this is the bottom line of what I actually wanted to address, because when you say experimental thinking and when you say, can it be a social practice? It should be a social practice. It's the imperative. It's not for privileged ones, name it, artists, designers, scientists, all that have this capacity, rational capacity. It's something that we need to do together. And by the way, when you say that we are basically trapped in our habits and representations, this is true. This is a premise that we need to start with. And I didn't speak much of mental health, but mental health was just the back office of all that I was, that my intention was to present in this 20-minute short presentation. So let's say that experimental thinking that we practice together in our close or larger environment, even chosen environment, not only through families or our given institutions, that if we do that, then we are opening the possibility to take care of our mental health.
Thank you, Sanja, very much. The next question comes from Elisa Piras. Thank you for your presentation, Sanja. I would like you to elaborate on the role of neoliberal models of production and consumption in causing the present multiple crises and in elaborating possible solutions. After all, isn't design a neoliberal art practical knowledge?
It is, exactly. This is what it is. And this is, I don't know if you've heard in my question, the job of the future is the designer. It was, well, I also had that a bit of a second degree meaning in it, a bit of a sarcasm, because designer, even even Plato had its own designer in Timaeus. So it's just imaginary thing. And one of these capacities that a human have is that we always find a way to idealize our positioning and ourselves. And we are, again, we were talking about our trapped habits and representations. We are trapped in this. So the designer, or design as a universal answer to all our cooperation and collaboration, is absolutely not possible. So we need multitude of tries and escapes that can answer your question. So yes, the design is a part of a neoliberal practice, not only arts, but practice in general. When you think of system designers and all that is practiced in managements, you don't have a management, a good, sophisticated management, if you don't have that design thinking approach. And the basic line, now when you ask me, I can tell the basic line where I'm very much critical is in this among 5 stances that the design thinking has, my basic problem is that action to empathize. And when I teach design thinking to my students, I tell them, please be careful. It's iterative, it's not linear, and don't presume that you can get the idea of empathy straight away. It's the hardest part. And if we want to need and meet needs of our clients, consumers, the empathy is the most difficult one. So it's the trap. And that's the answer to you, Elisa. I hope so.
Thank you, Sanja. There's another question from Valeria. Mm-hmm. She says, thank you for the presentation, Sanja. As you said, humanity has so far failed to adequately protect the world around us. One gets the impression that the One Health approach is often presented in almost romantic and abstract way, and that the urgency is therefore not apparent to many people. How can knowledge about the interconnection lead to actual action on a broad level? Is there a concrete example from design research, design thinking, or arts?
Mm-hmm. Valeria, thank you very much. So I'm a philosopher. I'm not neuroscientist. I'm not engineer. I'm not into the materiality of the world, but I understand what is wrong. And I think that keeping the understanding of what is going wrong, and me talking with experts in different domains, be it environmental experts, or I'm working with the engineer who is now developing theories for underground waters near the coast. So keeping me in conversation, in discussion with them, can actually enable our action. Because what I can provide, and eventually they don't get, because they don't have that capacity of soft skills, communicational skills, presentational skills, etc., because they are engineers. So I'm here to stand together with the engineer and to understand what is written in formulas, in equations, to translate these knowledges, and it's again in plural, into something that can be mediated and communicated to students in educational practices.
Thank you, Sanja. There's another question from Francesca linked to this one. If creativity is to be one of the most central skills in the future, and resilience should be incorporated in every artistic processes, how does the One Health approach shape our concrete labor world or our everyday reality? Thank you very much.
Francesca, thank you, because I need to say, and I didn't have time to develop it, resilience is not an easy beast to catch. We are not all gifted to gain resilience. And I'm not certain that I can be serious enough to say that we can imagine a romantic escape hatch. We know what happened with all these idealizations and romanticizations of our survival. It's more into understanding who can do what and how, and then to help those who are unable or not born with, help them to stay with us, not to be resilient. So resilience, it's such a huge concept, and I would not bet on that card. But what I can propose is through education, through what we are doing in our educational processes. Not traditional education, not this orthodox or dogmatic education, new practices of education, cooperative education. We were discussing about these processes that can bring social revolution, just staying together, learning how to eat together, learning how to prepare food together. And maybe that can help us into that One Health approach, because learning how to prepare food is trying not to get any waste behind us.
Thank you for this answer, Sanja. And I think now we can move to the last question of the day. Alexander asked, with increasing hyper-individualization of society over the last decades, I wonder whether you see that trend as a hindrance to the implementation of the One Health approach? If so, how can we foster move collectivist thinking throughout society that emphasizes the targets of the group as a whole, including animal and nature as well, and over the needs of individuals?
Oh, Alexander, again, the whole course, maybe the whole year we can dedicate to your question and develop it into a, into a pillar which can be really only to work, and I will say it again, through educational and participatory processes. And when I say education, I don't think only educating children, educating teenagers. We are educating ourselves until the last breath we have. And if we consider this process as ongoing process, each day, every moment, now I'm educating myself together with you because I'm in exchange, and I somehow test and anticipate what is it that you are having, and what are my blind spots that you mentioned, and that next time maybe I need to pay attention to. My response is, I cannot answer you. We are where we are, in what we are, in this one world. And I'm not inclined to any form of Luddism where we now need to get rid of artificial intelligence. We now need to get rid of all that we made. But how to cope with all that we made, how to cope with all the waste that we made. This is Prometheus with his liver, it's regenerating, and it's very much human that he's regenerating his liver that is eaten by the end of the day. So it's maybe it's good to finish again in this Western civilization and in where I started from, because I can just apologize to all those who are coming to our Western world from elsewhere, with also beautiful legends, beautiful myths that are almost saying the same thing, but in another language. So where we can meet, we can translate, we can transpose our experiences with the experiences of those who are coming to join us.
Thank you very much, Sanja, once again, also for the lecture. It was a fascinating lecture and very interesting. And I think I want to thank also the audience for this intense discussion. And now I will leave the floor to Harald Bechlaner, the head of the Center of Advanced Studies, for the final greetings. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Chiara, but a very special thank to you, Sanja. Great speech, and allow me to say wonderful questions, a lot of questions, very good questions, and a good debate on these concepts. So this year's speech is definitely enriching the discussion internally at Center for Advanced Studies, and should at the end of the day also be a good basis for further developments of discussions also outside the center. So I like to thank you very much in the name of Roland Benedikt, in the name of the UNESCO chair, in the name of the whole team. Allow me to say that you, together with Temenuga, Alex, and Caroline, this year as fellows, I have the impression will contribute in a very substantial way to the discussion. So also, therefore, the thanks to Temenu and Alex for the questions. And Alex next week will start or will have his presentation. Therefore, I'd like to invite you officially now Wednesday 21 at the same time at 1 p.m. Alex Butzer will talk about nature rights. I think this is a next issue which is of big interest. All in all, it was a great start of this series of lecture. Again, thank you very much. A special thanks to Chiara for organizing this together with Elisa. And well, hope to see you next week with Alex Butzer's lecture, The Rights of Nature Between Theory and Activism. All the best and see you soon.
Thank you. Bye.